Alrighty, good evening everybody. It is a bonus stream night. Yes, I'm excited to... Yeah, excited to be streaming tonight. I was so excited by where we left off yesterday with Phoenix Wright that I couldn't help but want to stream again tonight. So, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. I've also, yeah, I've also got done a couple new things with the emotes. So I've started coming out with some bit emotes. So if you donate, if you are one of the people who has donated over 1,000 bits to the channel, just as a little thank you, I'm offering just this plain old churro emote. Should appear, yeah, right there on the screen. Awesome. And I've also, to those of you who have subscribed to my channel, I've also added the hype emote. So yeah, so that should be displayed there on the channel. That's going to be one of the regular emotes. Currently, it has replaced the music note. I moved that up to like a tier 3. But if I can get enough sub points, I'll probably move it back down. But yeah, I've got those two available right now. I'm working on others. I have a cool lurk emote that I've been working on that I'm getting approved. Oh shoot, I didn't. Yeah. There we go. Hello. Hi. Welcome everybody. Here, I'm going to just get that music credit in. And you know what? I'll spam the two new emotes a bunch of times as well in chat. There we go. So yeah, so it's the hype and the churro with the safari hat on. Yeah, pretty exciting. Alright, and before we get started, I want to say if you enjoy the content, please be sure to give a follow. Every single follow helps as I'm trying to grow the community. If you, if you want to keep up with the channel, please be sure to follow us on Twitter and on Discord. And feel free to join the Discord. Links to both of those are in the About page of the channel. And with that, I think I'm going to get started. I think that's everything. Oh, if you missed the stream, feel free to check the YouTube archived page, because even when they disappear from Twitch, I like to keep them up there on the archives. So with that having been said, here we go. Yeah, let me upload the game, and I'm going to turn off this music. There we go. So game should be coming up right now. There we go. Let's load this content up. Awesome. Alrighty. Rise from the Ashes. Final day, trial ladder. Let's go. So this is the end of the game. It's super exciting. February 25th, 12:06 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, Gumshoe gets his job back. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty. To top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law. Really? The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law securely slipped into pocket. From Miss Sky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, Detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's all been but ruined with this forged evidence you are unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused the man's death, and now you tell me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. Oh, wait. And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 1252, District Court, courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all for their witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement. But a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Okay. Oh, okay, I gotta do that. So the real murderer is obviously Damon Gant. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff. Please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What's this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Oh, Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Oh, fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh? Like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? Here, hold it 1 second. I need to look at that evidence law book. Okay, let me check it. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. They have a whole book just for 2 sentences. Okay. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course. Such an action carries with it certain risks. Oh, don't worry. I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. Witness testimony SL9 incident. Here we go. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Doc was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Doc bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Alright, let's try pressing him on everything. So I recall Neil and I were questioning him that day. As I recall, the ceremony was held at the police department that day. Oh, yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Doc and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Doc ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? Oh, that's right. But Doc made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden. I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on that floor, all tangled together. Doc was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he had his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Okay, I'm gonna press him on this. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Okay, so here I'm going to save at this point. Cool. Things are probably going to go south. Nothing to do with the forgery. I'm going to present the piece of cloth. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? Oh, what's that and what's on it? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know the second rule of evidence law? Oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how was that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay. I'll do it just this once, but only because you asked, Pudgy. Thank you. I assure you the defense is terribly sorry. Ha ha ha. Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Okay. Okay, now press him. Or wait, no, shoot, I don't want to press him. I want to present, let me skip through this. Link the incident to Gant. Okay, present. Options for presenting. Do I do the evidence list? Or do I do the urn? Okay, let me try the urn, the pot. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones who are capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the whole investigation. Worthy, my boy. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence you found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer how to put two and two together. Alright, evidence and forgery. Okay, so he's accepting this? Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when these pieces of evidence were discovered. They were found after Dark was convicted, and they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh, indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today as well, you know. All right, Touchy. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys? Telepathic? Okay, evidence and forgery. You could have planted them in my office. I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in my day I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking when Raito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. Grr. Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. Can't I? Can't I press him on that? What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items inside my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Raito. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on, come now, Raito. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Okay, because I need to present something. Okay, thin rubber glove. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna save here. So I'm gonna go a little bit on a limb here. Can't prove when? I'm guessing I can use the record. Nope. Okay. Don't think that one... Okay. Okay, present. I don't know what I can present. Stabbed in the back. I have to either prove when I got in there. Dang, I feel stuck. Can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. I need to press him on something, or like... Can't prove when those pieces were discovered. I can't. Like, I can't say, oh, it would have boosted... Like, it's not giving me the option where I could say, oh, it boosted your career. Joe Dark Killings. Found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. No reason I'm participating. Oh, man. Pog moment. Yeah, this is tough. Hey, James. How's it going? Great to see you. Oh, man. This is really tough right now. I just don't know what to present. There's gotta be something. I gotta guess something. Hope you're doing well, James. Great to see you. Oh, James, well, thank you so much for the 20 bits. Wow, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. Man, you're gonna be way up on that leaderboard with bits. Dang. Thank you so much, James. Alright, I don't have an idea of what to present right now, so I'm just gonna, like, randomly start presenting stuff. He doesn't have a reason. Nope, that's not it. Ah, man, this is tough. Ejection overruled. Losing more health. Okay. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. No, not the foot. Okay. There's gotta be something. Man, I'm really stuck here. Man. Alright. I don't know what to pick. It's the hardest thing. Alright, guessing a couple more... Okay. I'm gonna guess one more time, and then it'll reload my save. No, that's not gonna be it. Yeah. Okay, I'm dead. Okay, yikes. Alright. Well, that didn't go so hot. No, I did press him on everything, didn't I? Okay. Yeah, that didn't go so hot. Okay, continue. Oh, wait. Load the selected data, yes. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna press on everything. Appreciate if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. Okay, I've definitely pressed on this one before. Can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. Okay, press him on this. Okay, I've definitely done this. No reason I'd participate in a forgery. Press... Remember, who was it that murdered Neo? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Okay. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there's one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. Okay, I'm guessing I didn't press on this, and that's what caused the mistake. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. God, be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Oh, don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. And there, it's out in the open now. Hudgy, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Oh, sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho ho ho. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Options? Save. Cool. Alright, now that we've saved, point out accomplice. Okay, who could have been an accomplice? He threw these guys under. No, I don't think he would have helped someone out. Bah! I can't think of how it would help him. That means he wouldn't have helped out anyone. Relax and take a deep breath, Mr. Right. Try to think outside the box. After all, that's what you're good at, isn't it? Think outside the box. Never thought I'd hear him tell me that. The question isn't who would the chief help, it's who would ask the chief for help. If someone did that, he'd be sure to find a way to benefit from that person. It appears the defendant has nothing more to say. Chief, would you please repeat your testimony from the beginning? Office. Then they were worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Okay, I gotta present something on this. Okay, present. Okay, what am I presenting? Present this? Nope, that's not right. Okay, what do I present, though? I want it to essentially be like... I don't know, was there an accomplice? Like... Maybe press him on that? Could there have been something in it for him? Maybe try pointing out an accomplice? True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Okay, so this is how I get Lana targeted. Or Lana as the accomplice. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well, then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Take that! Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9's incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But what? How could he profit from all this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. You mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana? She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof all this amounts to is nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless... that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial, almost as if someone has been controlling her. Ooh. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? What? Order, order, order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier-to-understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question, is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. That'd better be good. Show us this evidence. Wait. That ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Okay, now do I present this? Well, Chief. So long as Righto here is tossing out... okay, I'm gonna save this. Tossing out things regardless of their relevance. Mind if I toss something too udgy? This shoe would do nicely. I'll chuck it right at you. You always were quite the joker, weren't you? Oops, looks like I got wrong. Don't oops me. Maybe this boot to the head will knock some sense into you. I know it's hard with all that's gone on during the trial. But try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago. Now that you mention it, we did find something during yesterday's investigation. Something that proves Gant entered the room. Looks like he wants another one of your boots, Udgy. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Okay, wait. Is it it's the evidence, or the ID card record? Yeah, that's it. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID card on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But now this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you enter the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Oh, of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt? No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Just proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Okay, it's the Goodman's lost item report, because it can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. You would have had to have given that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and the Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Wow, that was a crazy animation. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you! Take this here dead body to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left evidence, all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. Okay. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Oh gosh, okay. The screwdriver? I don't know. What did he use to move the body? The VHS tape? This is dumb. Yes, he used the screwdriver to move the body. This is how he moved the body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing? Oh, because he asked Edgeworth to bring him the screwdriver from another case. And that got Edgeworth to drive around. It's here because... Ah! I was asked to go, by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Okay, this is good. Order, order, order! What's going on in here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of a body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe... your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Gonna save at this point. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, you better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay, I have no idea on this one. So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the Chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Oh. Okay, let's say if I have no proof yet. Well, no, Your Honor. I have no conclusive evidence. See, G? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the Chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, LG. I'll leave the rest to you. Wait. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today. Are we bringing Lana to the stand? Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth Lana Skye. The defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we'll reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen, good Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah, this isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe? I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh, it's Emma! Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery, so she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she'd changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait to... No, I'm coming with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right? It's time to end this. To be continued. Ooh. Yep, let's save the progress. Oh, trial ladder 2. Okay. Cool. Awesome. I am going to actually take this moment, this brief break. I'm getting a bit peckish, so I'm going to grab a little snack. I'm going to drop you guys all off at the beach, though. Hope you have fun there. Let me get some beach music playing for you guys. Cool. This is a good one. Awesome. Go have fun. Go surfing. Go build a sandcastle. Play in the waves. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back. And so let's get back to this game. Wow, this is a groovy tune. But alas, we must pause the music. So that music is compliments of Kempin MacLeod, the wonderful music producer. Yeah, go check out his stuff. He's great. And with that, yeah, let's get back. There I am. Here on I'll even drop another music credit so it appears on the screen. Let me even just bump it up a smidge. There we go. Clearly seen. All right, and with that, let's jump back into it. Alrighty, here we go. Last day of the trial. This should be the end game. Alright, back. February 25th, 2:21 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Okay, here we go. Just had to check on one thing. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted and it had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Gant and the fabrication. Okay, I'm just going to go through press on everything. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see. I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day. All because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana! So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. So, if that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover it up with more lies. Okay, wait a second. New hypothesis here. Joe Dark was knocked unconscious. Joe Dark was knocked unconscious by Mr. Marshall. But Mr. Gant wanted a victim so then he could charge Dark. So he himself took the knife from the King of Prosecutors Award, stabbed Marshall, and then convinced Lana somehow that Emma did it? I don't know. All that just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Okay, wait a second. I want to look at the evidence. I don't want to check... Okay. It's... What am I looking at? So it's the King of Shoot, there was something I wanted to look at. Oh, it was the vase. Yes, that's what it was. Okay. Okay. Because could these also spell like G, A, N, like T? Or A, N, T. Like Gant? Okay, let's still press her on everything, but that's my working theory. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the wound victim, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why'd you plant the knife? Why did you move the body? But why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Guy fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound? Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did. So you rearranged the crime scene? Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. You so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay, let me press her on this. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer? Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna press her on this? Okay. So I read through that. Planted inside the wound that moved the body. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in the body would be all the proof we need. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Okay, okay. No truth is black, a male theory. Planted inside the wound, then moved the body. Okay, I think I need to save at this point. Let me just save so that I don't have to go through a bunch of story again. Alright, let's go back. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. Okay. There's got to be a contradiction here somewhere. Fabricated the evidence all by myself. Do I present the knife? My only motivation was to get Dark convicted, had nothing to do with Emma. Okay, nope, losing some points there. Hey, yikes. Nothing to do with Emma. I thought this, because Emma was written on it. Okay, let me check the files. Serial murderer, death, victims, and prosecutor. Single stab wound piercing heart and lung. Hmm. not sure. Okay, maybe present the knife? I'm really stuck on this one. I'm not liking this. Alright, I have no clue. Alright, let me... Is this one I press on? Like... Okay, is this the one that... Okay, why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. Okay, we get more detail. The reason Miss Guy moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Wait, how did they threaten your plan? Press? Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would have been clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Well, if you wrote the name in blood... Okay. Let me present it, because yeah, if you wrote it in blood... Yeah, that's an obvious contradiction. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene when Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. Contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. I think he wrote Gant. Order, order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed with regard to this jar and this bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're in the dark as in the dark as we are, about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the ones who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the witness may begin its cross-examination. Jar and message in blood. Blood traces on the jar. Alright, I'm gonna go one by one, press on everything. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. Certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case, but not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were a nice detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No, if I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? Seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana! I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. Fragments were so large, I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket knife and camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Okay, I'm gonna save at this point, and then I'm gonna try presenting the luminol testing spray. Present. No, it doesn't. Okay. Dark in the room, I didn't have time to check it out. Did I try presenting the jar again? Okay, well, there we go. Miss Skye, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of the jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But the defendant couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that? There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? Nah. No. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. Why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Leading her his aid, Gant helped her recreate evidence that incriminated Doc, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that, coming from my own client. I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. All right, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Witness testimony, actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable, the body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What, to me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Well, very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? Seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. It's a cute little chick. Oh, there it is. Wow, that's horrific. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh, that's not a... Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Mr. Wright! A piece cut from his vest, could that be? The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whoever's fingerprints, those must be the real murderer. What? Those fingerprints? They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell us the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor. Wait. Damon Gant's back now. Come on, Dudgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant? What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy, too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Wow, that is... Haha, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is this true? Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you'll be one of appearing before the Board of Inquiries. I'm gonna save here. What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall. Let's show that evidence. Yes, Your Honor, I do have further evidence. All right, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the Chief's. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who really murdered. It's a piece of leather cloth. Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Righto has checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's, Miss Emma Sky's. What? They're mine? So I really did do it? See, I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Skye to Neil Marshall's death. No. It appears we have our killer. No! No! Everything hinged on that point in the end. Okay, Lana was convicted guilty on all counts. Dang. So I should have hid that evidence, I guess. Alright. Continue. Let's reload my save. What do I do now? Can't show evidence, okay? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant? You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, righto. So it made him convinced. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What, you mean? You admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her? I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid. So you assisted Miss Skye. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. Why is he confessing to this? Like, he's gonna be thrown in jail. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. Then when I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating the far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Ho ho ho! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit to it. I don't want to have to do that. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then, before it was too late. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Okay, we're gonna save again. I'm gonna try showing it now. Your Honor, I do have the evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes, at least you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that to be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean, it could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all the time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why could that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Oh, I need a... Okay. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... That's Emma Skye. Emma Skye? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Ho 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 ho. You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, yet you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true, tragic but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Skye. You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ah, but I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposefully concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the ones who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you're absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer it is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth? What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Okay. Oh, shoot. Oh, this is the picture? Okay, I'm gonna save it. Or wait. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make it out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs were no doubt punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth is... Wait. There's no blood on it. Arrgh! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she's shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gamp, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved inside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar in the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order, order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair! Ho 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 ho! Did you actually think you could best me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Grant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? Save. I'm just gonna put, I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Haha, so the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then, it's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved in presenting evidence. No, Aji, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward you can't really believe. There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Okay, Oh, evidence law. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, At that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall, when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No! He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you. No. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around that apartment, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. And then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened the evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken back by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. Wow, he's just confessing right now. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Grr. Leaving the prosecution's card aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all this? Well, she has much to lose, as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker? I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah, looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Okay. So this wraps up the case. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Raito here, and Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. Ho 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 ho. Alright. Yeah, Lana's definitely... There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky? You no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might make it to the top. Oh, she's actually smiling. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Just stop it, I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder. However, although the Chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for those crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Oh my goodness. Catholic Gaming Network, thank you so much for the raid. Hello, everybody. Hi. Oh my goodness. Wow. Hey, welcome to the stream. Spider Mucky. Hey, welcome. Oh, raid. Yeah, oh, dang. I was actually planning on raiding you guys after this stream. Oh, but thanks for stopping by. Hey, everybody. Yeah. Wow, thank you so much for the raid. All right, I'm just finishing up Catholic Gaming Network. Howdy, how's it going? Yeah, I'm just finishing up this the final mystery of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So this is sort of wrapping all the sort of things up. You guys are just in time for the conclusion. You're here to hear me. Haha, we did it first. Yeah, you guys did. You beat me to it. Oh, at long last, it's finally over. Oh no, Emma's not good. Okay, so hey Churro, great to sorry, hey DJ, great to see you. I just saw Churro, and hey, it's great to see you. Great to see everybody. Everybody, welcome to the stream. I'm happy to have you guys here. It's really great. I'm sorry, like this is probably gonna be confusing because you're coming in right at the end of the story. Like this is like, oh, hey Dave, good to see you. Yeah, but you guys are coming in right at the end of the story. It's kind of rough. Like, I don't know whether to just try and explain all the, like, 4 chapters. Just finished my stream, figured raid yours. Hey, I appreciate the raid, DJ. Thank you guys so much, and everybody, welcome. Yeah, well, I guess you might not get quite totally what's going on right now, but at least you'll get to hear me do silly voices. Or at least the voices of the different characters. So, yeah. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. Yay, she's smiling again. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, poor Gumshoe. He's always interrupting. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty? And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. I love the voices. Hey, thank you. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. Thought you'd like to see someone. Yay, she gets to be reunited with her sister. Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. You like the character designs? Yeah, they do. They put a lot of artwork, like a lot of hard work into all the different designs of the characters and their animations. It's a great game. Like, anyone watching, definitely check out Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. It's like anime Perry Mason. So where it's like lawyer, courtroom, detective, murder mysteries. It's super fun. Yeah. And it's a really pretty game too. It's been a lot of fun to stream it. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back, and now you have. Yay, she's smiling again. Oh, Emma. Yeah, the sisters. Nah. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. Yay! Woo! At least that's what I felt, watching the two sisters make up. I've seen so many Twitter conversations turned into Ace Attorney videos, and they're all hilarious. I'll have to check out the game. Yeah, I completely recommend it. I think it's like 20 bucks on Steam, so it's not that expensive. The Mattress Dog, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the community. Happy to have you here. Mr. Wright? Mr. Gumshoe? Oh, me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say, congratulations. Spider Monkey 225, thank you for the follow. Hey, welcome. Happy to have you here. It's great to see you. Welcome to the community. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right, well, I'll be going now. Oh, Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. Goodness, no matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth? Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Ho ho ho. I gotta get the voice back. I do despise... No, that's Australian. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me, and that's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime, but they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. Yay, it's back to Pappy music. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is that? What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright. Show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own? I guess the jar? Or, yeah. Because we found this in the prosecutor's office. That might mean something to you. But I don't see how it had anything to do with our partnership. Huh? Mr. Wright, it seems you still have a lot to learn as well. I guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence. Okay. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation book. Oh, that's perfect for Emma. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? What a wholesome game. Haha, love it. Hey, you missed the whole part about, like, people being murdered and stuff, okay? Like, this ending, you guys are getting the wholesome ending right now. But, like, you know, a lot of people, like, a bunch of people died to, like, get to this point. There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a god, and he had ordered to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective! I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, haha. You see, Mr. Right here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Yay! I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. Hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. Alright, so I think this is the end credits. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Ah, sisters are close together. Alrighty, well, I think this is where the game's at. Oh, well, we got something from Gumshoe. Yikes, I thought it was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yup, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. Alright. Let me see who is... Okay. Alright, nobody I am following is currently live right now. I generally like to end my streams with a raid, you know, pass the viewers on to somebody. Oh yeah, here's this one guy. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can just be like that Dick Gumshoe. But Dick's his first name. He's not insulting him or anything. But, Yeah, I like to end with a raid to pass the love along. If anybody has a channel they would recommend me send a raid over to, I'd be more than happy. If someone has a friend who's streaming right now, another channel they like, or just even a game in general they would like to watch someone play, like, I would be more than happy to send you guys over there. And plus, if I do a raid, it gives you guys a chance to earn some Cinecoins. The Blue Badger finally broke. Man, that had a really big part in this investigation, that Blue Badger. You're my only friend on at the moment, unfortunately. No worries, my dude. What is it? Can't you see him having me a showdown with the steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? The Blue Badger do be tired. Yeah, he did a lot of work this investigation. He definitely deserves a break. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig about the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Make sure just not to eat it backwards. Alright. Let me see if there's anything else. Alright. Oh, here's the judge. I'll never forget that, young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Oh, Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or the other for how many years? Well, anyways, got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Wow, that's the first time we've seen the chair he actually sits on. It's a very chill theme to end on. Oh, it's Maya! Ah! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin! Coming! Well, see you around, Nick. Alright, we're at special thanks, so this is going to be right at the end. I'm just curious to see, like, what the final image is, you know. And it's nice, just getting a little bit of an epilogue on everybody's stories. I wonder who we're going to see now. Is it going to be, like, Edgeworth? Or are we going to see, like, Phoenix doing something? He was talking about going on a trek. It's good that Gumshoe kept his job. Oh, Edgeworth! Mr. Edgeworth? Oh. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on? Whoa, I hear the music suddenly went dark. Is something going on? Tell me Edgeworth didn't get murdered. That would've been dark. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh, wait. Okay. If I open this... Aw, it's a picture of Lana and Emma. Ah, that's really cute. There we go. Achievement unlocked. Rise from the Ashes. Ooh. I'm guessing because I beat... Oh, Rise from the Ashes. That was the title of the 5th chapter. Well, then that's the first game completed. Wow. Okay, so if I hit continue now... Okay, so that just saves from there. So I'd have to hit new game. So next... So sometime... Oh, nicely done. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Yeah. Alright, so next time I'll probably... I might not start it next time, but probably somewhere in the near future, I will start probably the next one, Justice for All, the sequel. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. But I think for now, I definitely need to call it a night. I want to say to everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate having you guys here. I really appreciate the raid and all the follows. Let me switch to my farewell screen. There we go. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Thanks especially to James with a Z for your cheer earlier. Thanks Spider Monkey and the Mattress Dog. Welcome to the channel. And the Catholic Gaming Network. Thank you so much for the raid. If you guys enjoyed the content, please be sure to give a follow. It really helps me. I'm trying to grow my channel, get more viewers to watch. And so, yeah, every single follow helps. If you want to keep up with the channel, feel free to follow on Twitter, join the Discord. Links should be in the About tab. And since I don't really have anybody to raid right now, I think I'll probably just call it a stream. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you guys all around. Bye for now. See ya, DJ. See ya, Dave.